Book 19. Penelope, the Beggar, and the Nurse. After the suitors depart for the night, and after Odysseus and Telemachus discuss their strategy, the wily hero goes as appointed to Penelope with the idea of testing her and her maids. Remember that some of the maids have not been loyal to the household and have worked with the suitors against them. The faithful wife receives her disguised husband. We can imagine the tension Homer's audience must have felt. Would Odysseus be recognized? Willing hands brought a smooth bench and dropped a fleece upon it. Here the adventurer and king sat down, then carefully Penelope began. Friend, let me ask you first of all, who are you? Where do you come from? Of what nation and parents were you born? And he replied, My lady, never a man in the wide world should have a fault to find with you. Your name has gone out under heaven like the sweet honor of some God-fearing king who rules in equity over the strong. His black lands bear both wheat and barley, fruit trees laden with bright, new lambs at lambing time, and the deep sea gives great hauls of fish by his good strategy, so that his folk fare well. Oh, my dear lady, this being so, let it suffice to ask me of other matters, not my blood, my homeland. Do not enforce me to recall my pain. My heart is sore, but I must not be found sitting in tears here in another's house. It is not well forever to be grieving. One of the maids might say, or you might think, I had gotten maudlin over cups of wine. And Penelope replied, Stranger, my looks, my face, my carriage were soon lost or faded, when the Achaeans crossed the sea to Troy, Odysseus my lord among the rest. If he returned, if he were here to care for me, I might be happily renowned. But in grief instead heaven sent me years of pain. Sons of the noblest families on the islands, Deucyon, Same, wooded Zakynthos, with native Ithacans are here to court me against my wish, and they consume this house. Can I give proper heed to guest or suppliant or herald on the realms of failure? How could I? Wasted with longing for Odysseus, while here they press for marriage. And now, as matters stand at last, I have no strength left to evade a marriage, cannot find any further way. My parents urge it upon me, and my son will not stand by while they are eating up his property. He comprehends it, being a man full grown, able to oversee the kind of house Zeus would endow with his honor. But you too confide in me. Tell me your ancestry. You were not born of mythic oak or stone. Here the beggar spins a yarn about his origins, pretending that he has met Odysseus on his travels. He cannot resist praising the storytelling beggar, revealing he has heard Odysseus is alive, and is even now sailing for home. Penelope calls for the old nurse, and asks her to wash the guest's feet, a sign of respect and honor. What follows is a scene of great emotional suspense. Eurycleia speaks to the supposed beggar. My heart within me stirs, mindful of something. Listen to what I say. Strangers have come here, many through the years, but no one ever came, I swear, who seems so like Odysseus, body, voice, and limbs, as you do. Ready for this, Odysseus answered. Old woman, that is what they say. All who have seen the two of us remark how alike we are, as you yourself have said, and rightly too. Then he kept still, while the old nurse filled up her basins, glittering in firelight. She pulled cold water in, and hot. But Lord Odysseus whirled suddenly from the fire to face the dark. The scar, he had forgotten that. She must not handle his scarred thigh, or the game was up. But when she bared her lord's leg, bending near, she knew the groove at once. An old wound, a boar's white tusk inflicted on Parnassus years ago. This was the scar the old nurse recognized. She traced it under her spread hands, then let go, and into the basin fell the lower leg, making the bronze clang, sloshing the water out. Then joy and anguish seized her heart. Her eyes filled up with tears, her throat closed, and she whispered, with hand held out to touch his chin, Oh, yes, you are Odysseus. Ah, dear child, I could not see you until now, not till I knew my master's very body with my hands. Quickly Odysseus swears Eurycleia to secrecy. Meanwhile, Athena has cast a spell on Penelope, so that she has taken no notice of this recognition scene. Penelope adds to the suspense by deciding on a test for the suitors the next day. Without realizing it, she has now given Odysseus a way to defeat the suitors. And thus ends Book 19 of the Odyssey.